This is TPC, Texas Algebra 1, 2024, Practice Set 4. Today we'll be working items from the released 2022 Texas test. I have created 5 items to mirror those items. Your kids will be able to use these to practice their test skills using the Desmos Graphing Calculator before they have to take their state test. So use this resource. It is free and it will continue to be free through February the 5th. So be sure you download your copy by then. You can find this resource over on Teacher Pay Teacher at my store Secondary Math Assessment Resources. Once you have downloaded your copy of the practice set number 4, it will look something like this. Go ahead and scroll through the practice set. There's 9 pages. First, you have your test items. There are 5 of the items here, and then you have an answer key with the TEKS alignment. And then on the last page, you will find a table that correlates these items to the items we're going to be working in this video today, which are your STAAR released items from the 2022 STAAR Algebra 1 assessment. The items we're looking at are 31, 35, 32, 38, and 40. If you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do it and click the bell for notifications so that you do not miss any of the upcoming videos or practice sets. All of the practice sets will be free, but only for a limited time. So it's important that you grab them as soon as they come out so you don't miss an opportunity to use this free resource. Click the link at the top of this page and it will take you out to the actual STAAR assessment from Texas for 2022. This is what the STAAR assessment will look like when you go out to that free resource. And then for the first item today, we're going to go to page 31 and we are going to look at item number 31. So that item looks like this. It's a basic function, f of x equals 7 minus 4x, and you're going to evaluate the function at -5. To do that, we're going to use the STAAR version of the Desmos Graphing Calculator. So go to desmos.com. When you get to desmos.com, you'll click on Math Tools in the top. You will click on Test Practice. At the top, choose your assessment, scroll down to Texas STAAR, and then click Start Practice. This is the graphing calculator we'll use for all 5 items on today's practice set. To do item number 31, first type the function exactly as it appears into one line on your calculator. So f of x equals 7 minus 4x. And this type of item is extremely simple. They don't really need the graph at all. They simply use the function notation and type in the number -5 in parentheses, and it will basically substitute in that -5 and evaluate for them. So the correct answer was 27, answer choice A. The next item we're looking at is item number 35, and that's located on page 34 of the test. Which equation represents the line shown in the grid? We're going to just type the answer choices in as they appear. So the first answer choice was y is equal to 0, and you'll see the line here. Well, the line is not right on top of the x-axis. It's down here, so that one's not correct. The second one is y equals -6, and that one is here. So you can see that it intersects the y-axis at 0, -6, and it appears to do that on the paper as well. So the correct answer choice is answer choice B. The next item is item 32 on page 32, and you're looking for a graph that represents this equation of a linear function. The graph on the paper is pretty significantly different from what you're seeing here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the wrench in the top right-hand corner and make some adjustments. One adjustment is to remove the minor grid lines and change the steps to 1. That will give you the little grid that looks more like the one on the paper. You also probably want to put these labels X and Y so that those are showing up as well. And that's a little bit better. It's kind of zoomed out quite a bit, so you could zoom in. But it is square, so I think this is going to work. Let's go ahead and type in the answer choices. I'll start with F. Or actually, I need to type in the equation, and I'll look at answer choice F to see if this one is the same as the one on the calculator. So the first thing I notice is that answer choice F is increasing, so I would rule that one out, and I would rule out answer choice G for the same reason, because this graph is clearly decreasing. So we're down to H and J. So let's look a little closer to see which of those two makes the most sense. Now, one way you can see is to click on this graph for your x-intercept, and it appears that the graph is crossing between -3 and -4, and it's -3.5. So you want to make sure that the graph is crossing between -3 and -4, and this line for H is doing that, but the line for J is actually crossing between -2 and -3. Another thing you might know is that this is a linear function with a slope of -4 that's been translated left 3 down 2. So on this graph, you can actually type in the point -3, 2. Excuse me, -2. Got that negative missing. And it'll fall right on this line. And you can see that the point -3, -2 is on this line. The kids don't have to know that to get this answer, but that is a concept that's being taught. This assessment is supposed to be assessing that concept. So the correct answer here was answer choice H. The next item that we'll look at is item number 38, and that is on page 36 of the test. This is a conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit. They have given a graph. The standard for this item actually calls for both the table and the graph. So when you use your practice set, you'll notice there's a table included with the graph. But this particular item, they only included the graph. So they're asking which equation best represents this situation. So what we'll do is we'll type in each of these answer choices, but first we're going to have to spend some time adjusting the window on the graphing calculator to look more similar to the one that you see on the test. When you click on the wrench in the top right-hand corner, you will adjust your x-axis to go from 0 to about 50, because that's what it appears to do here. And I am using a step of 5, and that will give me a scale of 5 on the graph. For the y's, I went from 0, and I did go all the way to 120, because it does have one more space here. And it looks like these are counting by 8, so I used a step of 8. Now the graph looks much more similar to the one on the paper. So let's type in some answer choices and see which of these graphs are like the graph that's showing up on the test. So the first equation is y equals 5/9 x, and clearly this is not intersecting the y-axis at the 32 like the one on paper or on the actual test, so that one's incorrect. The next one is 9/5 x, and this will do the same. It will intersect at the 0, so that is not correct either. So let's go back to 5/9 x plus 32. Now this one is intersecting in the correct spot on the y-axis at 32, but the slope is much more shallow, less steep than the one on the actual test. So let's change this 5/9 to 9/5. And that one fits just right. Now the steepness isn't exactly the same, and that's because this grid is not squared. But I think just by process of elimination that students would certainly know that the correct answer in this problem is answer choice J. The last item we're looking at is item 40, and that one is located on page 38. We're given an equation of a quadratic function, and we're asked to select the graph that best represents that function. So if you will go ahead and type in the equation that you're given for h of x. And we do see a parabola. Now this graph is not squared. So I did go ahead and adjust these to -7 to 7 for my x's and my y's on my graph. But honestly, I think I do need to square it to get it more similar to the test. So let's look at that again. It does appear that the vertex for this graph is falling in the 4th quadrant. You can actually click on the graph to see what the order pair is, and it's 1, -4. So looking at these answer choices, the first answer choice has a vertex at 1, -4. The second answer, or actually the second answer choice is G, and it has a vertex in the wrong quadrant, and so does J. H has a vertex in the correct quadrant, but it's not the correct vertex. So the correct answer choice for this problem would be answer choice F. If you haven't already done it, go ahead and head over to Secondary Math Assessment Resources, and right here is a link to download this practice set number 4, and you can use that to work those items with your kids. Those 5 items are not the same items that I just showed you. They are 5 additional items that were created to mirror the 5 items that I just showed you, so that you have additional practice for your kids. You can also look around and see if there's anything else that interests you. I do have quite a few free items listed in my store, so feel free to check those out. And if you have any questions or comments about this practice resource, be sure to leave me a comment. Y'all have a great day.